Don't give up your dreams to raise your child, and tomorrow blame it on them. Good day, wherever you're watching from. My name is Olubanke, and you're welcome to my channel. Okay, so I've got two audience from two different places. I've got audience from Instagram, and I've got audience from YouTube. So in case I'm switching, mentioning names, or talking about their comments, and just know that it's either the comment is coming from my audience on YouTube or from my audience on Instagram. But I want to say you're welcome to everyone and say thank you for coming. I do appreciate the fact that you have decided to spend your next few minutes with us on this live program. And I trust that it's going to be really helpful for you on your parenting journey. So please calm down, relax, and let's flow together on this. Today we are talking about parent or victim. Ask yourself, am I a parent or am I a victim? I know most of us would have heard things like, oh, I suffered for you, then you should be indebted to me for life. Your parents may not say directly. Most older parents have said things like this to their children. I've heard people say things like their parents are saying they hold them their life because they brought them to this world. And sometimes parents say things to make children feel like they are a mistake or they came to make their life miserable. And a lot of parents, there was this thing online about 2, 3, let's say 4 years ago, when people started saying your parents should not rely on you as their retirement. I don't know if anybody saw that online, and there was this much uproar and all of it. And my take on this is that you actually owe your parents, but parents should not be the victim. So before we go deep into this, I'm going to give a disclaimer. I'm going to give a disclaimer. Number one disclaimer: we need to teach children to be appreciative. Don't raise an entitled child. Don't raise an entitled child. So let them know that they need to be appreciative, regardless of whoever is helping them, contributing to their growth and their life today. They have to be really appreciative. Number one disclaimer is that I am not saying children should not be appreciative. They should be appreciative. Number two is that sacrifice is important in parenting. In fact, parenting is more about sacrifice. But as we go on today, you understand the point we are trying to drive and where we want you to wake up as parents. Please just calm down and follow us. So somebody just gave me a point on Instagram saying parents should not make their children their retirement pots. So that's what I was trying to say. There was this thing online then, and it was very hot. People were actually trying to prove that children don't owe parent. I'll say you owe your parent. Yes, you owe them. They brought you to this world. So, but in another way, parents should not play victim. I would explain what I mean. A parent should not play victim all of the time. Okay, so what does playing victim look to you? I know some of us would have experience maybe with an uncle that has helped you before, or your parent, or some sort of friend that has sacrificed something for you, and they just want you to be indebted to them for life. They want to control every of your move because they've helped you. That is playing victim. That is part of playing victim. An example is when a parent tells you, if I give birth to you and I have suffered for you and I've done this for you, you should give me like half of your salary. That is playing victim. You know, making children feel responsible for adult problem. That is playing victim. You brought them here. It's not their concern whether you make money or not. It's none of their concern. Yeah, somebody said guilt tripping children. Yeah, a lot of parents guilt trip their child. They guilt trip it. Children will naturally love their parents as long as they are good to them. Even somebody that is not their parent, children would naturally love. They are loving. So you don't need to start putting some extra fear, extra word, mixing it so that they will actually love you. Children will naturally love. Children are loving without any extra. Children are naturally loving. And that's why A parent should not be playing victim. You don't use guilt to control your child's career. Your child should not suffer for your failed career. Yes, you might have somebody like me. I wanted to become a doctor. I finally didn't become a doctor. I could kind of want to push this idea to my child and say, I'm your mother, I gave birth to you, and I have always wished that one of my sons was going to be a doctor. And if you're not a doctor, you're going to make me feel like you want to destroy me. And I can start guilt tripping them. I can guilt trip them and make them just want to align with my own idea and play victim. And many parents in our generation think they are perfect and better than parents in those generation, thinking that they are doing it better. But some of us are still playing victims. We are. Yes, children should be loving and empathetic and caring and understanding. But your child is not responsible for your weaknesses when you go for 12 hours shift 4 times a week. And you come back and the child just want to talk to you and you're like, I've been suffering for you, you don't even understand. You're not suffering for them, you're providing, and that's what parents do. And it's not the child's fault. You brought them here. And that's why I usually say this, that I think one of the things that should be included in the pre-marriage counseling class should be the idea of bringing children to this world. It's not about the fact that do you want to have children? Are you ready to have children? Because when you bring them here, you're responsible for them, you know? And we stylishly in our generation are beginning to bring these things up. I think now we're growing up, and because that was what we absorbed from our environment growing up, we kind of want to start guilt tripping our children. And it's a very dangerous thing. We see parents that guilt trip their children, even to make decision for marriage. Maybe because they have a friend that they've promised that they were going to be in-laws, or they are indebted to them in one way. Then they tell their child that if they have suffered that for them, so they have to get married to that person, you know. Many parents play victim, and the effect on children is very massive, very massive. One of the things you don't want to happen to you in future is your child to come back to you and say, you ruined their life. You are putting so much effort into seeing that this child becomes something great in life. You're praying night and day, you're fasting for them. You are doing everything a good parent should do. But guilt tripping them into making choices in career, marriage, or their lifestyle is going to be a long-term thing that will have effect on their life. And if you let this go on, it will affect them for generations. And many parents are doing this in our generation, like I said. I've seen children that went to the uni and came back and gave certificate to their parents and said, well, I got that for you. They wasted 5 years of their life satisfying them. Their parents will think, oh, they're paying me back, but it's not useful for them. That's a wastage in their life, in their purpose, in the amount of time they have to live. That's a lot of years to waste because you want to pay your parents. Go to medical school, give your parents the certificate, then start doing music. Why can't the child start doing music at first? Because the parent wants to be satisfied, and they guilt trip them into making this decision. They play the victim. A lot of parents are playing victim, especially in this generation. So what usually causes this? Why are we gently sliding into this association as 21st century parents without knowing? Okay, let me give you an example. I was talking to a parent the other day, and they had a very good job before they migrated to the UK from Nigeria. They were earning so much. They lived in one of the best places in Nigeria. They were comfortable, and when they got here, they couldn't really fit in, so they started doing menial jobs. And one of the words that came out of the mouth of a parent was that, if not because of my child, my life wouldn't have been like this. And they've said this word to the child several times. Like, I'm suffering for you. My life is in this way because of you. I'm this way because of you. I could have been enjoying in Nigeria, but because I want to give you life, I want to give you better life, I moved to this country. And the child feel like they are a very bad addition to your life because you make them bear your burden. And that is too much for a child. No matter what their age is, that is too much for a child. And why does this happen? What causes this? Number one, mentorship. That was the way they were mentored. Their parents, possibly probably their uncles, their grandparents, guilt tripped them to achieve things. And so that's the way they were taught, that's the way they think life run, and they adopt it. And it's really strange and dangerous. So, like I said, it could be caused, well, it's mostly caused by the way they were mentored, the way they were parented, the way they saw people do it, and they brought it into their own parenting, even when they're grown. Number two, unresolved trauma. If you have a failed career, you have a failed dream, there's this likelihood, if you don't take responsibility, there's this likelihood that you'll push it on everyone around you. You blame your parents, you start blaming your spouse at a point if you get married, you blame your children when you give birth. So if you don't resolve trauma, then it will be a problem for you. We have people that while growing up, they had dreams, but probably because of their bad decision making, they didn't achieve this dream. Then they start projecting this dream on their children. Like, I want my child to do this because I couldn't achieve this. And they can do everything to make that child follow what they want, do what they want by playing the victim. I've suffered so much for you. I work all night and day to pay your bills. I bought you PS5 and I've not been able to pay off the debt for this. I've not been able to pay off the debt for that just because of you. And they push that burden on the child. Yes, you might have, like I said earlier, parenting and sacrifice is like this. You can't separate them. Parenting is about sacrifices. But you don't push the burden of your sacrifice on your child. That child did not ask to be born. So you brought them here. Yes, they should learn gratitude. They should learn to be empathetic. But don't push the burden of your decisions, the burden of your sacrifices on your children. That will be totally wrong. Pushing that on your child will be told. Then cultural expectations. When we watch Nollywood, and women will touch their breast. You drag this, you suck this breast, and you, this child, you're not listening to me. Because they want that child to actually listen to what they're saying, they play the victim. Yes, it's your responsibility to breastfeed your child. It's not like you are doing them a favor. It's your responsibility. It's your job. So they suck the breast. That means that they now owe you and they have to obey everything you say. When the child gets to a certain stage, they'll start to make their own decisions. So when it's time for your child to be independent and make decisions, then you start blackmailing them, guilt tripping them with emotions, because you always want them to do what you say. That is playing victim. And like I said, a lot of parents in our generation is doing this now. A lot. Yes. A lot of parents in our generation. Somebody saying on Instagram, if I'm not the one that poured blood on your head, I can't interpret that. I think it's sweeter in Yoruba. You know, a child should be allowed to make their decision when they get to a certain level in life. Even as young as a child is, this is how you know that you've raised an independent child. By watching them make decisions. And there's something that is called safe risk. Let them take that safe. You watch it and you say, okay, this thing is not going to really have so much impact on them. Let them make mistakes. They will learn from it. It's very important. As long as it's not going to have impact on their life or something really that damaging, let them make mistakes. But parents always want to guilt-trip their child because they feel like, oh, I can make the best decision for this child. And so we've said a few things that can cause this. Mentoring, unresolved trauma. Another thing is stress. When you are too stressed, you can't sweep the house, you can't tidy up. And because your child is not really getting into this tidying up thing, you start guilt tripping them. You know, when you are too stressed, sometimes you just need to rest. Sometimes you don't have any problem. All you just need is proper rest as a parent. And rest is not a reward for you. It's part of parenting. If your head is not right, your decision making will not be right. If your head is not right, you will scream a lot, you will shout a lot, you will feel like breaking down sometimes. So stress also can make parents to be playing victim. Yeah, to be playing victim. And I think I said cultural expectation, that's how they do it. And so you adopt it yourself. And playing victim can be unintentional. And that's why I'm trying to wake us up this beautiful evening. It can be unintentional. You can be doing it like you don't know. It's something that you've seen people do over the years and have worked. So the best way to pass the message across to your child is to play the victim. The reason why I didn't progress in life was just because of you. My life is a standstill because I decided to raise you. One of the things that I usually tell myself, I think I wrote this somewhere in my book, and I'll look for it. Okay. I said something like, don't put your dream to an end because of parenting. Because we have parents that will say, I couldn't become a nurse because of my children. I couldn't become a doctor because of my children. And they put this on the child, put the burden of their decision on a young child. And this child will carry this burden all their life till they become adults. And they will always feel like they are not enough because they are responsible for somebody's failure. Imagine you growing up to think that your mother or you are responsible for your parents' failure and growing up all your life with that guilt. That's what most parents do to their children. You put the burden of your bad decision on your child. Like I said, one of the things that I say to myself every time is that never put your dream to a stop because of your child. Yes, you can put it on hold because you don't have time now, you need to focus on them. Put it on hold. When they are independent enough and you feel like I can focus on myself now, you can pick yourself up. But don't end it and blame the child forever for your complacency or for your laziness. You know, it's very important because a lot of parents do this and you play victim, and the fact that that child has to bear that burden all their life. I've seen parents say things like, I could have like traveled abroad, but because I did this for my child, I can't do it. And they tell that child that every day. And that child grew up having a heavy heart of being responsible for their parents' inability to achieve things in life. So this is why I want us to wake up. Like I said at the beginning of this, I'm not saying don't teach your child gratitude. It's very important. Teach them gratitude, teach them responsibility. Yes, you're going to grow old one day and you will need their help. Even if you don't beg them for money, you will definitely want them around. So you have to teach them all of that. But one thing you don't want to do for your child is to put burdens on them, is to create trauma for them. Because the way you're going to parent them now is going to be like a bedrock for them on how they will parent their child. So if you build it on guilt and burdens, imagine what they would do to their child. Don't give up your dreams to raise your child and tomorrow blame it on them. Your child is not going to be a toddler forever. Your child is not going to be a teenager forever. You can pick it up at any way, in any place, no matter how bad or worse it has been. Like I said in the beginning, parenting and sacrifice goes together. You cannot separate them. So you still have to sacrifice, and your child should know about your sacrifices. But don't put burdens, don't play victim. Don't put burdens on your child. Okay? And another thing I wrote here is, how do you break the cycle? How do you break the cycle of these things that we are talking about? You know, awareness, which is what we are doing now. A lot of parents, like I said, do it now. You tell your parent the reason why you are doing care job and you are not in a managerial post like you were from the country where you were coming from was because of your child. And you tell this child every day when they are going to school, thinking you are giving them motivational speech. I would have been okay in Nigeria if I was there. I would have been okay if I was eating my food in Nigeria. I was earning so much. I was okay, but I decided to move to UK because of you. And now my life is in a mess because of you. And you're putting your child in that position. So number thing is awareness. You have to be conscious of it. Don't put the burdens of your bad decision on your child. It's unfair to do that to your child. If you have not been able to become a doctor that like you wish, don't say it was because I had a child. That's why I can't become a doctor. You didn't have a child all your life. Like, it's not like they were toddlers all your life. They will definitely become teenagers and adults some days. You could have picked up your life. But don't put that burden on your child. Don't start speaking that negativity into the life of your child from a very young age. Don't put the burden of your bad financial decision on your child. Saying things like, if not because you wanted a Nike trainers, would have eaten jollof rice today. Excuse me? It is your responsibility to provide for your child. As a parent, it is your responsibility to provide for your child. If, in a way, you are not financially buoyant to provide, and you make a decision to use money for food to buy them trainers, don't put the blame on the child and say things like, we would have been eating pizza now if not because you bought Nike trainers for you, or we bought Nike trainers for you. Don't put the burden of your decision on your child. It's a very terrible load to put on a child, because they're going to carry it all their life, thinking that they made your life miserable, they made you insufficient. Their presence in your family is not a blessing. Their presence in your family makes the family bad, does not add value to the family. That's the idea your child will be carrying if you put the load of your decisions on them. So, number one on how to stop this is to be aware that our generation is stylishly doing it. It's creeping in subtly in our generation, and we are not paying attention to it. Another thing we need to do is to take responsibility. Yes, you did something terrible. Calm down and take responsibility. I remember one day, I don't like when my sons are playing in the car when I'm driving. So sometimes they are doing some rough play and I'm driving, I'm trying to concentrate. They are talking too much. I don't know how that affects my driving, but I don't really like it, especially when they're arguing or shouting. So I'm just like, can you guys just keep it down? And there was some sort of mistake with my driving, and the car almost hit me. And I looked at them and said, this is your fault. No, it's not their fault. And I kept quiet. I looked at myself like, how is it their fault? How is me not being able to control my emotions their fault? How is me not being able to regulate things their fault? And this is what most parents do. We push it on them instead of taking responsibility. Take responsibility as a parent. Take responsibility. Don't always put the blame on your child. You say things like your child is the reason why you can't afford holidays. Your child didn't ask to be born. Your child didn't ask that they should have 5 other siblings. You decided to bring 6 kids into this world. And so if your financial capability cannot take you on holiday, it's not your child. It's not the children's fault. You hear parents say things like, oh, you can't go on holiday because of the children. No, you can't go on holiday because you can't afford it. Not because of your child. Don't put that burden on your child. Don't let your child grow up thinking our presence made their life so hard. It's not their fault. If you can't provide for them, don't put that burden on your child. It's too much load to put on a human being. Take responsibility. So we are looking at how to break the cycle. The first one is be aware. You have to be aware, and that's what we're talking about today. The second one is you have to take responsibility. When you make a bad decision, tell yourself, I need to work on my decision making. That is not my child's fault. If you decide to take your child to a bad school and something happened and you blame the child, you know, no, I made the decision for them to keep going there, and I should be responsible. Number 3, communicate differently. There are loads of ways to communicate with your child, especially when you're trying to ask them to do things. Like, let's say, for instance, I'm trying to paint a scenario now. I'm going to use from when we were young. For instance, a grand or a mother want their child to get married to a lady because it's their friend's daughter, and they don't come up with, if I'm the one that breastfed you, or if I'm the one that poured blood on your head, like someone said the other time, if I'm the one that went through 9 months, or if you stayed in my belly for 9 months, you will get married to that girl. No, communicate differently. There are ways by which you can do things. Don't always play a victim, because you will not want to get to the future and blame yourself for tricking your child, for guilt tripping your child, or for emotionally blackmailing your child to do that thing. Sit down and reasonably look at things. What can we do? Communicate different. So how to break the cycle? Number 1, be aware. Number 2, take responsibility. Number 3, communicate differently. Number 4, create emotional safety. Don't let your child always look at you as a place of burden. Mommy will put load on me. I'm talking to her, I'm feeling so guilty and heavy, and she's going to tell me that, oh, it's because of you that I'm not achieving things in life. It's because of you that my life is on standstill. I can't change my car because of you. You blame everything on your child. It's not your child's fault. There are loads of financial commitment involved when you're dealing with parenting, when you're having children. But one of the things you should be conscious about is not putting the burden of not being able to meet up on your child. It's not your child. You are the parent. You are supposed to provide. You are supposed to make the right decision. You are supposed to do the right things. Like I said earlier, yes, it's okay. Children should understand empathy. You should teach them gratitude. But you should not put burdens on your child. Okay? If sacrifices was your choice, don't make it, or if sacrifice was your choice, don't make it a burden for your child. It's a choice to sacrifice things for your child. It's not supposed to be a burden for your child. You don't want your child to grow up and having so much trauma from thinking they have to live their life to satisfy people, because that's how you've raised them to live their life to satisfy you, like they hold you. So when they meet everyone in life, they'll think they hold them. Like your child is responsible for other people's happiness. Your child is not responsible. In fact, no one is responsible for your happiness. No one on earth is born to make you happy. No one on earth. Okay. Like I said earlier, do not give up your dream to raise your child. Yes, you can put it on a hold and pick it up later. Don't blame your child for not being able to pick it up. It's not their fault. It's not their fault. Yes, we have different cases, different parenting scenarios, but the point here is don't put burden on that young child. They are not responsible for making things work for you. Okay? So sometimes things like parent playing victims makes the child think that they hold their parents a lifelong repayment plan. So they don't even get to live their own life. We've seen people that got married, and when you talk to the couple, the guy is like, oh, my mom suffered so much. So before he considered his family, he has to consider his mom first. Before they get a car in the family, he's got 2 kids, they are jumping buses. He's thinking, yeah, no, I should get a car for my mom first. And the wife is like, are you crazy? We've got children. We need a car in this family. And the child is like, no, my mom suffered for me. And they're trying to explain to him, and he's not even getting it. You can't blame him, because he's been made to believe that he needs to repay. He's been made to believe that he's responsible for every failure his mom has had. And so he wants to do everything to pay up. And these desires don't go away by paying up. And that's why you don't want to put this burden on your own child. Okay? And don't blame your living condition on your child. It's not your child that is responsible for you renting a 1-bedroom house. You see people say things like, if not for you, I'll be living in a mansion. How is it the child's fault that you are not able to afford a mansion? How? There's a way parents play this victim and make the child feel like there's some sort of heavy load that is dragging the parents back. And that's what I want us to be awake to and be conscious of it, and not stylishly do it, because sometimes it's not intentional. Okay? Another thing I'll say is that don't make your child suppress their purpose because they want to avoid hurting you. Because you've guilt-tripped your child to an extent that they feel like anything that is against what you want is not right. So they don't pursue purpose. What they do is that they throw it away and do something to make you happy, because you have so much played victim. And you know what happens when a child does not fulfill purpose? They are miserable all their life. Recently, we were reading somewhere in the Bible where it says that a stillborn child fulfilled more purpose than a man that lived all like 100 years and more, and it's not fulfilling purpose. So you don't want to, because of your decision, make your child suppress purpose. And it happened to a lot of adults. If you talk to them, they'll say, oh man, my mom said I can't go there because my uncle will be sad, or I can't go there because my sibling will feel sad, or I can't pursue this thing because the family will think this. It's so important that we don't put this burden on our children, even as parents in the 21st century. It is very, very important. Don't blame kids for adult troubles. Don't blame kids for adult trouble. It's not their fault if you've not made the right decision. Your kid did not ask to be born. You decided you want children. So be responsible for your own action. Be responsible for your own decision. Be responsible for your result. They did not ask to be born. Like I said, they didn't ask for 10 siblings. You decided to give them 10 siblings. Don't make the first child feel like they are responsible for your not being able to take care of your other children. It's not their fault. Don't put that burden on your child, and stop playing victim. You're actually not a victim, you're a victim. And like I said, sometimes you can unconsciously do these things, and if you don't pay attention to it, you're going to discover that it's going to really do a lot of damage to your child. And when they grow up, it's going to do a lot of damage because it will be some sort of parasitic relationship. They will think that you need to suck from them to survive. And so they will starve themselves to help you feel high or feel better while their purpose is starving. And that's why you need to pay attention to these things. And that's how we've come to the end of our discussion today. And I want to say thank you to everyone that has decided to spend 40 something minutes with us today. I want to say thank you. God bless you so much. I do appreciate you. By the grace of God, we'll see you again next Wednesday. And have a beautiful evening, morning, afternoon, wherever you are. God bless you. Be a victor and a parent, not a victim. Bless you.